I want to share with you today how to force yourself to improve day after day, not just for a week, not just for a month, but for a lifetime. Because that's how success works. It's not an event, it's a process. Let's start with something fundamental. Improvement begins with a decision. A decision to be more tomorrow than you are today. A decision to learn more, to work harder, to push yourself beyond what's comfortable. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Jim, I've made decisions before. I've set New Year's resolutions. I've promised myself I'd change, but it never sticks. And you know what? You're right. Most decisions don't stick. Most people decide to change on January 1st. And by January 15th, they're back to their old habits. Why? Because they never turned their decision into discipline. And discipline is the bridge between decisions and accomplishments. You see, it's easy to decide. Anyone can decide, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to start a business. I'm going to learn a new language. Decisions are easy. It's the daily discipline, forcing yourself to take action day after day, that's hard. But here's what I want you to understand. Hard doesn't mean impossible. Hard just means hard. And you can do hard things. You were designed to do hard things. So how do you develop that discipline? How do you force yourself to improve day after day? Let me give you some strategies that have helped thousands of people I've worked with over the years. First, you need to understand the power of small daily improvements. Most people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 10 years. Why? Because they don't understand the power of compound interest, not just in money, but in personal development. If you improve just 1% every day, at the end of a year, you'll be 37 times better than when you started. Not 365% better, 3,700% better. That's the miracle of compound interest applied to your life. So don't despise small beginnings. Don't despise those days when you only move forward an inch. Those inches add up. Those small improvements compound. And before you know it, you've traveled miles from where you started. Second, you need to develop what I call a growth philosophy. A growth philosophy says, I am responsible for my own development. Not my boss, not my spouse, not my parents, not my government. Me, I'm responsible. Most people have what I call a survival philosophy. They're just trying to get through the day, the week, the month. They're not focused on growth, they're focused on survival. And there's a world of difference between the two. With a survival philosophy, you're always reacting to life. With a growth philosophy, you're creating your life. With a survival philosophy, you're always putting out fires. With a growth philosophy, you're building something that can withstand the fires. So ask yourself, do I have a growth philosophy or a survival philosophy? Am I just trying to get by, or am I committed to getting better? Because if you want to force yourself to improve day after day, you need a growth philosophy. Third, you need to engage in deliberate practice. Not just practice, deliberate practice. What's the difference? Deliberate practice is focused, it's intentional, it's designed specifically to improve performance. Most people practice the same thing over and over and over, and they don't get better. That's not deliberate practice, that's just repetition. Deliberate practice means pushing yourself beyond what's comfortable. It means focusing on your weaknesses, not just your strengths. It means getting feedback and using that feedback to improve. So ask yourself, in your job, in your relationships, in your health, are you engaging in deliberate practice? Or are you just going through the motions? Because if you want to force yourself to improve day after day, you need deliberate practice. Fourth, you need to surround yourself with growth-oriented people. Jim Rohn, that's me, has famously said that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And I stand by that statement. If you want to force yourself to improve day after day, take a hard look at the people you're spending time with. Are they pushing you to grow? Are they challenging your thinking? Are they raising your standards? Or are they holding you back? I'm not saying you should abandon your friends and family, but I am saying you should be intentional about who you allow to influence your thinking, your beliefs, your standards. Because those influences will either push you toward improvement or pull you toward mediocrity. Fifth, you need to become a lifelong learner. The day you stop learning is the day you start dying. And I mean that quite literally. Your brain, like any muscle, needs exercise to stay healthy. And learning is the best exercise for your brain. Now, I'm not just talking about formal education, although that certainly has its place. I'm talking about developing a hunger for knowledge and wisdom. I'm talking about reading books, listening to podcasts, taking courses, seeking out mentors. Did you know that the average CEO reads 60 books a year? That's more than 1 book a week. The average American, by contrast, reads less than 1 book a year. Is it any wonder that CEOs are where they are, and the average American is where they are? Successful people are readers. They understand that some of the best thinking has already been done for them. All they have to do is access it through books. So if you want to force yourself to improve day after day, become a lifelong learner. Read books, take courses, find mentors, expose yourself to new ideas, new perspectives, new ways of thinking. Sixth, you need to embrace the power of habits. Habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. The small disciplines repeated with consistency every day lead to significant results over time. Most people never realize how their daily habits are shaping their destiny. They wake up, check their phone, rush to work, come home exhausted, watch TV, go to bed, and repeat day after day, year after year. And then they wonder why their life isn't changing. Your life today is essentially the sum of your habits, how in shape or out of shape you are. A result of your habits, how happy or unhappy you are, a result of your habits. How successful or unsuccessful you are, a result of your habits. What you repeatedly do, the way you speak, the way you think, the way you respond to challenges ultimately forms the person you are, the things you believe, and the personality you portray. So if you want to force yourself to improve day after day, take control of your habits. Identify the habits that are holding you back and replace them with habits that move you forward. It won't be easy at first changing habits, never is, but the payoff is enormous. Seventh, you need to set meaningful goals. Goals give your life direction. They focus your energy. They pull you forward. Without goals, you're just drifting, reacting to whatever comes your way rather than creating what you want. But not all goals are created equal. The most powerful goals are those that are tied to your value, your purpose, your sense of meaning. Those are the goals that will pull you forward even when the going gets tough. So ask yourself, what do I want my life to look like in 5 years? In 10 years? In 20 years? What kind of person do I want to become? What kind of contribution do I want to make? What kind of legacy do I want to leave? Then break those big goals down into smaller goals, yearly goals, monthly goals, weekly goals, daily goals. Because remember, improvement happens day by day. It's the small actions repeated consistently over time that lead to big results. Eighth, you need to embrace discomfort. Growth happens at the edge of your comfort zone, not within it. If you're always comfortable, you're not growing. It's as simple as that. Most people spend their lives avoiding discomfort. They stay in jobs they don't love because it's comfortable. They stay in relationships that aren't fulfilling because it's comfortable. They avoid trying new things, meeting new people, taking on new challenges, all because they want to stay comfortable. But here's the truth. Comfort is the enemy of growth. If you want to force yourself to improve day after day, you have to be willing to be uncomfortable day after day. That doesn't mean you have to be miserable. It just means you have to be willing to push yourself beyond what's easy, beyond what's familiar, beyond what you've always done. So ask yourself, where am I too comfortable right now? Where am I playing it safe? Where am I avoiding challenges because I'm afraid of failure or discomfort? And then force yourself to step into that discomfort, because that's where growth happens. Ninth, you need to practice self-discipline. Self-discipline is the ability to make yourself do what you should do when you should do it, whether you feel like it or not. Most people wait until they feel like doing something to do it. They wait until they feel like exercising to exercise. They wait until they feel like working hard to work hard. They wait until they feel like saving money to save money. But successful people, people who force themselves to improve day after day, they don't wait to feel like it. They do it because it's the right thing to do, because it's aligned with their goals and values, because it's a stepping stone on their path to the life they want. Self-discipline isn't some innate trait that you either have or don't have. It's a skill that you develop through practice. And like any skill, the more you practice it, the better you get at it. So how do you develop self-discipline? Start small. Don't try to change everything at once. Pick one area where you want to improve and focus on that. Once you've established discipline in that area, move on to another. And remember, self-discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's not about never failing. It's about getting back up when you do fail and continuing on your path. 10th, you need to take care of yourself physically. This might seem unrelated to personal improvement, but it's not. Your physical health affects everything else in your life, your energy levels, your mental clarity, your emotional stability, your productivity. If you're not taking care of your body, everything else suffers. It's hard to force yourself to improve day after day when you're exhausted, when your brain is foggy, when your emotions are all over the place. So eat well, exercise regularly, get enough sleep, take breaks when you need them. This isn't indulgence, it's investment. You're investing in your most valuable asset, you. 11th, you need to learn from failure. Failure isn't the opposite of success, it's part of success. Every successful person I've ever met has failed more times than the average person has even tried. The difference between successful people and unsuccessful people isn't that successful people don't fail. It's that they learn from their failures and keep going. Most people let failure stop them. They try something once, it doesn't work out, and they give up. See, I knew it wouldn't work. See, I'm not cut out for this. And they retreat back to their comfort zone, never to try again. But if you want to force yourself to improve day after day, you need to see failure differently. You need to see it as feedback, not as a final verdict. You need to see it as a lesson, not as a loss. You need to see it as a stepping stone, not as a stumbling block. So when you fail, and you will fail if you're pushing yourself to grow, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this experience to get better? Then take that learning and move forward. 12th, you need to practice gratitude. This might seem counterintuitive. If you're focused on improvement, doesn't that mean you're dissatisfied with what you have now? And doesn't gratitude mean being satisfied with what you have? Not exactly. Gratitude isn't about complacency, it's about perspective. It's about recognizing the good that's already in your life while still striving for more. It's about appreciating your progress while still pushing forward. Gratitude gives you energy for the journey. It keeps you positive when the going gets tough. It reminds you of how far you've come even as you focus on how far you still have to go. So each day, take a moment to reflect on what you're grateful for. It might be the opportunities you have to grow. It might be the people who support your growth. It might be the progress you've already made. Whatever it is, acknowledge it and give thanks for it. 13th, you need to keep perspective. Improvement is a lifelong journey, not a destination. There's no point at which you'll arrive and say, I've done it. I've improved enough. There's always more to learn, more to do, more to become. And that's a good thing. It means life never has to become stale or boring. It means you can always be discovering, always be becoming more of who you were created to be. But it also means you need to pace yourself. You need to celebrate yourself along the way. You need to rest when you need rest. You need to be patient with yourself when progress seems slow. Remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about being better today than you were yesterday. It's not about never failing. It's about getting up one more time than you fall. It's not about reaching some ultimate goal. It's about enjoying the journey of improvement day after day. Now, let me share with you a framework I've developed over the years to help people force themselves to improve day after day. I call it the 5 for Daily Drive. The first part of the 5 for Daily Drive is to start your day with purpose. Don't just wake up and react to whatever comes your way. Wake up with intention. Wake up with a plan. Wake up knowing what you need to do that day to move closer to your goals. I recommend taking a few minutes each morning to review your goals, to set your priorities for the day, to visualize yourself succeeding. This sets the tone for your day and focuses your mind on what's important. The second part is to feed your mind. Just as your body needs food each day, your mind needs nourishment. Read something that inspires you, that educates you, that challenges your thinking. Listen to a podcast or an audiobook during your commute. Take an online course during your lunch break. The quality of your thinking determines the quality of your life. And the quality of your thinking is influenced by what you feed your mind. So make sure you're feeding it with high-quality input each and every day. The third part is to stretch your capabilities. Do something each day that pushes you out of your comfort zone, that challenges you, that helps you grow. It might be having that difficult conversation you've been avoiding. It might be trying a new approach to a problem. It might be taking on a project that scares you a little. Remember, growth happens at the edge of your comfort zone, not within it. So each day, find a way to stretch yourself. The fourth part is to reflect on your day. Take a few minutes each evening to think about what went well, what didn't go so well, and what you learned. This reflection turns experience into insight, and insight is the currency of growth. Ask yourself, what did I do well today? What could I have done better? What did I learn? How can I apply that learning tomorrow? This daily reflection accelerates your improvement by helping you extract maximum value from each day's experiences. The fifth part is to prepare for tomorrow. Before you go to bed, take a few minutes to plan for the next day. Set your priorities, prepare your environment, remove any obstacles that might get in your way. This not only makes your tomorrow more productive, but also gives your subconscious mind a chance to work on your priorities while you sleep. You'll often wake up with insights or ideas that weren't there when you went to bed. So that's the 5 for Daily Drive. Start with purpose, feed your mind, stretch your capabilities, reflect on your day, and prepare for tomorrow. Do these 5 things each day, and you'll create a powerful drive for daily improvement. Now let's talk about some of the obstacles you'll face as you force yourself to improve day after day and how to overcome them. The first obstacle is procrastination. We all know what it's like to put things off, to say, I'll do it tomorrow, only to say the same thing tomorrow and the next day and the next. The key to overcoming procrastination is to understand that motivation often follows action, not the other way around. You don't have to feel like doing something to start doing it, but once you start, the motivation often kicks in. So when you find yourself procrastinating, use what I call the 5-minute rule. Commit to working on the task for just 5 minutes. That's it, just 5 minutes. Anyone can do something for 5 minutes, right? And you'll often find that once you've started, it's easier to keep going than to stop. The second obstacle is fear. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of the unknown, fear of what others might think. Fear can be paralyzing, keeping you stuck where you are instead of moving forward. The key to overcoming fear is to recognize it for what it is, a feeling, not a fact. Fear feels real, but it's often based on assumptions that aren't true, on worst-case scenarios that never happen, on limitations that exist only in your mind. So when fear shows up, and it will show up if you're pushing yourself to grow, acknowledge it, but don't let it stop you. Feel the fear and do it anyway, because on the other side of fear is growth. The third obstacle is perfectionism. Perfectionism disguises itself as high standards, but it's really about fear and control. It's the belief that if you can't do something perfectly, you shouldn't do it at all. The key to overcoming perfectionism is to embrace the concept of good enough for now. Not good enough forever, but good enough for now. Good enough to move forward. Good enough to learn from. Good enough to build upon. Remember, improvement is iterative. You get better by getting feedback, by making adjustments. You don't have to get it perfect the first time or ever for that matter. You just have to keep improving. The fourth obstacle is lack of support. It's hard to improve on your own. We all need people who believe in us, who encourage us, who hold us accountable, who give us feedback. The key to overcoming this obstacle is to actively seek out support. Join a mastermind group. Find a mentor, work with a coach, connect with like-minded individuals who are also committed to personal growth. And if the people closest to you aren't supportive of your growth, don't let that stop you. Sometimes the people who love us the most are the most resistant to our changes because they're comfortable with who we are now. But as you grow and as they see the positive changes in your life, they'll often come around. The fifth obstacle is burnout. When you're pushing yourself to improve day after day, it's easy to push too hard, to neglect rest and recovery, to burn the candle at both ends until there's nothing left. The key to overcoming burnout is to build sustainability into your improvement process. Take breaks, get enough sleep, schedule downtime, practice self-care. Remember, improvement is a marathon, not a sprint. You need to pace yourself for the long haul. Now, let's talk about some strategies for accelerating your improvement ways to get better faster without burning out. The first strategy is to leverage the power of feedback. Feedback is like a mirror that shows you what you can't see on your own. It reveals your blind spots, your areas for improvement, your impacts on others. But not all feedback is created equal. The most valuable feedback is specific, timely, and actionable. It tells you exactly what you did well or could do better. It comes soon after the event in question, and it gives you clear steps for improvement. So seek out feedback, ask for it, be open to it, use it as fuel for your growth. And remember, feedback is a gift sometimes wrapped in a package you don't like, but a gift nonetheless. The second strategy is to use the power of visualization. Your mind can't tell the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. When you visualize yourself succeeding, your brain creates neural pathways as if you've actually done it, making it easier for you to do it in reality. So take a few minutes each day to visualize yourself achieving your goals, overcoming obstacles, becoming the person you want to be. Make your visualizations as vivid and detailed as possible. Engage all your senses. Feel the emotions you'd feel if it were really happening. The third strategy is to harness the power of accountability. When you're accountable to someone else, you're more likely to follow through on your commitments. It's one thing to let yourself down. It's another thing to let someone else down. So find an accountability partner, someone who shares your commitment to improvement, someone who will check in with you regularly, someone who will call you out when you're not living up to your potential. The fourth strategy is to use the power of systems. Goals are important, but systems, the processes you put in place to achieve those goals, are even more important. Goals provide direction, but systems create progress. So for each of your goals, develop a system, a set of habits, routines, and processes that move you closer to your goal each day. For example, if your goal is to write a book, your system might be to write 500 words every morning before breakfast. If your goal is to lose weight, your system might be to prepare healthy meals on Sunday for the coming week. The fifth strategy is to leverage the power of rest. This might seem counterintuitive. If you want to improve faster, shouldn't you work harder, not rest more? Not necessarily. Rest is not the opposite of productivity. It's part of productivity. It's during rest that your body recovers, that your mind integrates what you've learned, that your creativity flourishes. So build rest into your improvement process. Take breaks throughout your day. Get enough sleep at night. Take a day off each week. Schedule regular vacations. Your productivity and your improvement will actually increase, not decrease. Now let me share with you what I believe is the most powerful force for improvement, your why. Your why is your purpose, your reason for wanting to improve. It's what gets you out of bed in the morning. It's what keeps you going when the going gets tough. Most people focus on the what and the how of improvement, but neglect the why. They know what they want to achieve and how they're going to achieve it, but they're not clear on why it matters to them. But here's the truth. Your why is more important than your what or your how. When your why is strong enough, you'll figure out the what and the how. When your why is strong enough, you'll find a way to overcome any obstacle. When your why is strong enough, you'll force yourself to improve day after day, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it. So what's your why? Why do you want to improve? Is it for your family? Is it for your community? Is it for a cause you believe in? Is it to fulfill a potential you feel inside you? Is it to make a difference in the world? Whatever it is, get clear on it. Write it down. Remind yourself of it every day. Let it be the force that drives your improvement. And remember, your why might change over time. What motivates you at 20 might not motivate you at 40 or 60. That's okay. The important thing is to stay connected to your current why, to let it fuel your growth. Now, as we start to wrap up, I want to address something important. Forcing yourself to improve day after day isn't about becoming someone else. It's about becoming more of who you truly are. It's about fulfilling your potential. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. You see, inside each of us is a potential that's waiting to be fulfilled, a seed that's waiting to grow into a mighty oak, a masterpiece that's waiting to be painted, a symphony that's waiting to be played. But that potential, that seed, that masterpiece, that symphony, it doesn't fulfill itself. It needs your active participation. It needs you to force yourself to improve day after day. And yes, I use the word force intentionally, because some days you won't feel like improving. Some days you'll want to coast. Some days you'll be tempted to settle for less than your best. And on those days, you need to force yourself, not in a harsh, punitive way, but in a firm, loving way, the way a good parent forces a child to eat their vegetables or do their homework. Not because they want to make the child miserable, but because they want what's best for the child. In the same way, you need to be both the parent and the child in your own life. You need to be the one who sets the standards and the one who lives up to them. You need to be the one who demands improvement and the one who delivers it. And as you do, as you force yourself to improve day after day, something amazing happens. The forcing becomes less necessary. The improvement becomes more natural. The discipline becomes more habitual. The growth becomes more enjoyable. You reach a tipping point where the momentum of your past improvements carries you forward, where the habits you've built sustain your growth, where the person you become naturally seeks further improvement. But until you reach that tipping point, and even sometimes after, you need to force yourself. You need to be intentional. You need to be disciplined. So let me leave you with this challenge. Starting today, force yourself to improve. Not just for a day, not just for a week, not just for a month, but day after day after day. Force yourself to read more books. Force yourself to have more meaningful conversations. Force yourself to take on more challenging projects. Force yourself to face your fears. Force yourself to step out of your comfort zone. Force yourself to be a little better today than you were yesterday. Force yourself to learn from your failures. Force yourself to celebrate your successes. Force yourself to be grateful for how far you've come while still pushing for how far you can go. Force yourself to live up to your potential. Force yourself to become the person you were created to be. Force yourself to make the difference you were designed to make. Because in the end, that's what life is all about. It's not about being perfect. It's about being better. It's not about arriving. It's about advancing. It's not about reaching some final destination. It's about improving day after day on the journey. And as you do, as you force yourself to improve day after day, you'll not only transform your own life, but you'll also inspire others to transform theirs. You'll not only reach your own potential, but you'll also help others reach theirs. You'll not only make your own difference in the world, but you'll also enable others to make theirs. And that, my friends, is success. Not just personal success, but significant success. Success that matters, success that lasts, success that spreads. So go out there and force yourself to improve, force yourself to grow, force yourself to become all that you can be. The world is waiting for the best version of you to emerge. Don't keep it waiting. Thank you.